my name is Michael. I am a finance manager who works on budget for a living over the last decade. In this series, 2 out of the 7-week program are designed to get you to become more successful and get what you want in order to live a rich life. No gimmicks, no tricks, no BS. So, one of my very first bank account I've opened was with Bank of America. I opened it because I was referred by a friend, which we would each get a $25 bonus. Not knowing much at the time, I signed up. So we both would get the money, not knowing that there were fees. If you don't have a minimum balance, the bank would charge me a monthly fee. If I withdrew more money on the account than what was actually available, the bank would charge me a fee. And the fee can get fairly large if you have multiple transactions on the bank over your current balance. So for example, I would have $50 left on the bank account. I go to the grocery store and I make a purchase for $51. Well, that's over what I have available. So they would charge me a $35 overdraft. And then if I go to the grocery store and if I go to a local convenience store, buy a candy bar for a couple bucks, and then make a separate transaction to buy gas, I don't have those balances available. They're gonna charge me 3 times the overdraft fee. So $35 times 3, which is like $105 for that. Some banks like Wells Fargo, which is actually my very first account that I opened, I had to pay $20 to get checks. I didn't know any better at the time, so I paid them. I basically paid $20 for some papers. If you shop around nowadays, you should definitely be able to find banks that offer free checks. If they charge you money for them, look elsewhere. This is how banks makes a ton of money. For example, just on overdraft fees in 2020, they made $30 billion, more than $30 billion. This averages out to be around, up to $100 per person in just 1 year. That's crazy. So guys, shop around before opening up these accounts, or look at your current account to see what you can do. One of the tricks you can do if you did incur these fees, what I've done in the past was that I actually called into my bank and say, hey, I'm actually a long-time customer, or I'm a good loyal customer, and these were actually by mistake or an error. Can you please remove these charges? Typically, they would be able to remove these charges, but you have to ask them in order for them to do that. One of the banks I've noticed that doesn't have any fees is the Charles Schwab. There's no monthly fees, no minimum, no foreign transaction fees, and you get unlimited ATM, and you get unlimited ATM rebates. Meaning, because they don't have the local branches around, you can go to any other banks, withdraw money from that, and if you incur any fees from using their ATM, Charles Schwab will reimburse you those fees. And that's one of the cons about the Charles Schwab, is that it doesn't have a physical bank. But that hasn't been an issue for me, at least, since I actually do everything online now. I also link all my accounts together. So some of the local banks, if I need to pull out a lot of cash for some reason, then I can just transfer money to my local bank and go there and get the cash. But typically, everything's online. You don't really need that much cash on hand. One of the other things I would recommend is that if you have an emergency fund, or you're actually saving up for it, don't keep it in one of your local banks like the Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or Chase, because their interest rate is like 0.01% for a savings account. That's basically very minimal. Some of the better accounts, one of the accounts I'm using today is the American Express, which offers 0.4% interest rate. It's not a lot, but at least it's something. I'll recommend stick with 1 or 2 accounts that you like and stick with that, right? Don't have too many There are some, local credit unions that offer higher interest rates. I think an upwards of like 6% interest rate for savings, but it's only up to a maximum of like $500, right? So, and then anything above, beyond that is like 0.01%. So if that works for you, great. I just like to use the American Express because I link those to my account and I can just transfer them back and forth, so it's easy. But do what works for you. Spend a couple hours and shop around at your local banks or use online banks. Online banks, however, will typically have better deals since they don't have to pay for a brick and mortar location. Basically, they have lower overhead, so they can offer a better deal. That's why I like the American Express savings. They don't have a physical bank, so because of that, they're able to offer me a higher interest rate than some of the local banks here, like Wells Fargo, Bank of America. So good luck, shop around, let me know and comment below on what you find. Thanks, bye.